Good evening to those who are already on.
Hello. I'm in my workout clothes, so.
You're stealing my opening joke.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I saw Deborah Jones on there, wondering if that's the Deborah Jones I know. Oh, maybe she's gone now.
Do you have to admit everybody, Nikki, or they automatically get in?
No, it's automatic. Everyone should have received the link with the confirmation email.
Perfect.
I used the link, Nikki, it's working.
Perfect.
Hey, Christine, how are you?
Aaron?
Hi there.
Hey, Rosemary,
Yeah.
do you mind checking if the live stream is working?
Okay, I will do that. I'll be back in 5.
Thank you.
Was I sharing my email with you, Nikki? Is that what you meant when you said I was sharing my screen?
Yep.
It's okay. So anything on this screen. So can you
Now we see the presentation. You're good.
Okay. We're up to 32 people. We'll give it a couple more minutes or until Rosemary gets back, I guess.
There you go, bud.
Okay.
Quite the growth of beard there, Dave.
What'd you do during COVID?
Perfect, Nikki.
Me or Dave?
Dave, yeah. Grew a year.
He grew beard.
Yeah. Well, all right, folks, it's 7 o'clock. I think we have most of our board members on there. It's climbing, okay. Maybe we'll just give it a couple more seconds here because the number just jumped. I'll be right back.
John, did I have my mic on when you were commenting on my beard?
You didn't, Dave.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that I fluffed it up extra for tonight.
Yeah. I couldn't grow one if I tried.
It totally has a mind of its own. It's out of control.
Looks like you're up on the hill.
Indeed.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, folks, I think we're going to get rolling here. People can join in as they can, which is nice. First off, I'd like to start by saying I'm speaking to you tonight from the traditional territories of the Sailts Nation. That's a new one for me. I've just realized how ignorant I am, but it's led me on a bit of a journey, and I'm now committed to further understanding the relevance of what I've just said, and hope that all future acknowledgements that I give will be more meaningful and considerate of the land that I live on, the trails, and the places that I enjoy. I'd also like to mention that Nocs is fortunate to operate on both the Sailts and the Secwepemc territories. And furthermore, acknowledge that because of our virtual state, there's probably many of you out there that potentially could be located on a different territory this evening. With that in mind, and with the size of the group we have, I'd just like to provide you all a moment of silence to offer your own acknowledgement in your own way to the traditional land on which you live and recreate on. Excellent. Something else before we jump into business that is rolling around in my head, and I would be endeavoring to continue with Nocs, and I hope this will challenge them a little bit, is to creating more awareness and discussion towards removing discriminatory cultures within the mountain bike community. So I hope that's something we can all work on. That being said, going to move into our annual general meeting for March 15th, 2021. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming out tonight. Been kind of an interesting year. A year ago, we were sending an email out asking you if you're not feeling well to not come to the meeting. So I'm glad things have changed in some ways, and we're able to continue on and challenge us with the new opportunities. Really, is what it is. How we can do things. So tonight, there's our agenda, and officially like to call this meeting to order. And we have a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to pass the controls back to Nikki Paulette, who has set this whole thing up, and I'm just going to get her to run through the housekeeping for us quickly.
Thanks, Brett. Can you hear me okay? Great. Yeah, so I think most of us are used to this virtual meeting format by now, but just a few reminders. Please try to keep yourself on mute. If not, I might just mute you myself. So I apologize in advance if I do that. If you do have something to say or you have any questions, please first use the chat box and send. Yeah, so I'll be moderating that, and I'll find a good time to ask the question to the speaker or save it for the end. And if you really do have something that you'd like to say out loud, then please use the hand up feature. So you'll see at the bottom of your screen, there's reactions, and you can click that, and then I'll see that you have your hand up, and I'll be able to call on you to speak. Aside from that, there's a few things this evening that we'll have to vote on. So for votes, there's going to be a poll that'll flash up on your screen. And it's very intuitive. You just have to click the option that you want, and it's all anonymous. So yeah, that's what we'll do for voting. And I think that's about it. If you have any questions or if something's not working, you could send me a chat directly. So just click on my name in the participant pane and press chat to message me privately. Thanks.
Thanks, Nikki. All right, well, I see we have 52 participants logged in here, so I think we're well exceeding the quorum required. We're going to step into an introduction and an adoption. I'm sorry, so we're in the introduction at the moment, and I'd like to adopt the minutes from the 2020 AGM. So could I have a motion to adopt those? Can somebody, did somebody make a motion, or can?
I can make a motion to
I
adopt.
gave a thumbs up, but
Okay,
I second that, whatever.
okay,
Whatever.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's something I also have to clean up, work on that, but that's.
Yeah,
for the
sorry about
future.
that.
No,
A few
that's,
people are having trouble getting into the meeting, so I was distracted trying to get them on.
shall we give you a moment and let some people catch up?
Sure, if we have a moment, that'd be great.
Okay. So as we move along, we will wait a couple more minutes here, but just finishing the agenda. I have a brief report. Don't want to steal the thunder of our directors. They've got some great reports to give this evening. We'll give consideration to the financial statements and then eventually get to the election of the directors.
You can go ahead, Brett. I'll try to figure this out.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So way back when we became a society, the group that founded it came up with a mission statement to create positive trail experiences for mountain bikers in the North Okanagan. And that's something we reflect upon and look back at, as is our purpose. And it's a big one, it's a good one, but that's really what we have to refer back to and make sure we're running our society in accordance with, and the bylaws within that. Moving along, our board of directors. This has been really great working with this group of people. And as you can see, we have a large group, very engaged people. And it's just been fantastic. Unfortunately, the picture we have there isn't representative of everybody. I'm going to blame that on COVID. I'm sure we would have managed to get one this year. This last year had that taken place, but we'll dive into each of those people and see what they have to say. Members, again, thank you for coming up. You know, we wouldn't be here without you and your support and the initiatives we put forward and the members have supported. So thank you so much. It's great to be part of this organization. So year in review, 2020, what happened? It was kind of an interesting year, as we know. We're going to focus on the positive mostly. BC Parks closure, that was a tough one. But, you know, that's kind of brought to light of day some of the issues that we have with resource utilization and perhaps overutilization. So that's something that's going to affect us and the trails that we manage for sure. But there's always opportunities to learn from that. So we move on and we navigated COVID-19, I think quite well. We had to adapt, you know, we had to come up with some virtual options like this meeting and like the offerings that we had. But everybody had some issues, right? We had some land access issues, and I don't think that's a big surprise. That's a mountain bike norm. And we have to continue to navigate that. And out of that, though, I think one of the big benefits and the opportunities was to develop some new relationships. And during that process of navigating the land access issues, we reached out to the Vernon Outdoors Club, and I think we have to spend some more time with that relationship, as well as the Off-Road Motor Club and Fort, the Friends of the Rail Trail. Recently, fellows from Lake Country has reached out to me as they're looking to form a cycling club. And, you know, I certainly think we would be happy to welcome them into ours, but there's obviously reasons why they would form their own. And I wish them all the success with that, and hopefully we can collaborate and work together, as well as Monashee Trail Society from Lumbee. I was contacted recently, and they're getting some program going there. Actually, society is up and running now. So I look forward to having more discussions with them and working on those relationships. A look ahead. A couple years ago or last year, you remember we were starting to talk about strategic planning. One of the big things that came out of that was that we should have a paid trail crew, professional trail crew. And so this year, in response to a survey that Nocs put out, and a great response from the members, seemed to indicate that trails were a huge part of everybody's interest. No surprise. But so this year we've approved a $24,000 budget to go towards trail maintenance. And that's going to look like a 3-person crew for a month in the spring and a month in the fall. And that's just the start of it. We also are looking to eventually hire an executive director. And we've had the really great fortune of having one of our own directors step down from her role and take on a volunteer executive director role for the year. And she's been putting in more than full-time hours to try and get the ball rolling here. I want to introduce Bridget Grant to everybody, and if she's on there, maybe she'd like to poke her head up and say a couple words.
Hey everybody, I'm Bridget. I've been on the board for a couple of years, and in that time we've had a strategic plan that came forward as part of a grant that we earned a few years back. In that strategic plan, one of the key pieces that we needed to look forward to moving forward was a trail crew and an executive director. And so given where we are at, and that we know that every single one of you is interested in trails, we prioritized trails this year. And as most of you know, hiring anybody, it's very important to know really what you want that job to look like. So I stepped up really to create the framework and the foundation for what we need in an executive director. And one of the key parts of having an executive director is generating enough revenue to pay for them. So that was one of the most important features moving forward. So through the winter, we moved forward with a corporate sponsorship plan. And that plan is meant to fund the trail crew. And so we've been fortunate enough to have some really amazing companies in town step forward so far. And we've been delighted to see that they are in support of the trail maintenance crew. Just so most people know that the funding is purely for maintenance, not for new builds. That is something that we would go out for through grants, as we have in the past. So the trail maintenance moving forward is hugely important, and we're really looking forward to this new first year of having a paid trail crew to really set an example for our community and for people who are visiting, to try to boost that economic piece and to encourage people to visit, as well as to enjoy our local trails. And with the huge increase that we saw last year, we're really hopeful that we can keep up with the traffic that's happening on our trails and ensuring that we keep high quality, excellent trails for futures to come. So if there's any people that are out here listening that would be interested in joining our corporate sponsorship initiative moving forward, I'm in the last throes of recognition and whatnot for feathered flags. And if you're interested, I would love to hear from you. You can contact me at ed@nocs.ca. The second piece that we have really attacked and moved forward on this year was advertising and a membership drive. So not only are we looking to increase a revenue stream through corporate sponsorship to pay for trail maintenance, we're also looking to capture all those riders out there who aren't Nocs members, to encourage them and to really advocate and communicate to them the importance of being part of our group and what that is and what they can gain from it. So you can expect to see us on a membership drive this spring. We will all be looking for volunteers to man the tents, as well as our board members will be out there actively conversing with people and really raising awareness as to what it is that we do moving forward. So you'll see lots of advertising out there as well. We're trying to get banners up and have some more visual media out there that really raises awareness. So that is really the year to come. If you have any questions, concerns, you're more than welcome to contact me. And I look forward to seeing you all out there on the trails.
Thank you, Bridget. And thank you for everything you've been doing and the leadership you've been giving us. It's just been fantastic. You're moving mountains. And as well, there's a bunch of people I know working with you, and try and acknowledge them appropriately. Membership. So normally Cynthia would give this. Cynthia has been with us for the last couple of years, and she's a founding board member. And I couldn't have done the last 2 years without her. I really appreciate everything she did. But I'm just going to give a quick review of the numbers from last year on her behalf. 1,042 members in 2020. You know, I put COVID with a question mark because that's pretty impressive for a year where things were so uncertain. We were about 30 odd members below where we were the year before. So again, thank you for your support with that. There's the breakdowns that we had with those passes. And moving along, we're going to move into the financial consideration here, and I'm going to introduce Tess Carruthers, who's been taking care of our financials in the background and has produced these financial statements for us, which are really critical as far as going out for grants and really establishing our credibility. So you know, we have a fair amount of money that is in our account and flowing through, and we have to do things properly. And Tess is going to make sure we're doing that. So Tess, if you're there, if you could step in, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tess. I'm the treasurer for Nocs. So if we can hit the next slide. There's our balance sheet for 2020 and 2019 comparative. So at the end of December 31st, 2020, we had about $70,000 in our bank. And then we've restricted a little bit of our funds for the year coming up, which is new for Nocs. So we restricted $38,000, which will go to ensuring we have enough money for our operating insurance for the coming year, and as well to pay our wages for our trail crew. And then that will leave us about $34,000 in our bank account for operating expenses. Next slide, please. So our revenue for 2020 was about $73,000. $27,000 of this came from membership fees. Grants, that was a big year for us. We had about $38,000 in grant revenue. Donations, $2,500, and then fundraising program and other income. So historically, insurance has been our largest expense throughout the year, and that is the same this year except for trail building. As many of you know, we had a large year for trail building with Be Kind and FlowVid. So $42,000 of our expenses went to trail building and trail maintenance. And then the rest was either costs that we couldn't recoup from the Bombshell Enduro and Bike Fest and other stuff like that, including administration fees. So it'll be quite different compared to last year and our year coming up. But overall, it was a really good year for Nocs. And next slide. So just some notes to the financial statements. We don't have any externally restricted funds this year, meaning we don't have any grant revenue left over. So we spent it all on our trail building, which is good. We met all of our requirements for the grant revenue that was received in the year. And then we just have our internally restricted funds. And then there's a breakdown for our membership revenue. And last, the grant revenue received is broken out to who it was received from. So $22,900 from the Rotary Club, the City of Vernon Discretionary Grant, and the BC Parks Enhancement Fund. And that's it for the financial statements. If anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me at finance@nocs.ca. Thanks.
Thank you, Tess. That's awesome. All right, now I'd like to pass the floor to Vice President Mark Dohaniuk, who unfortunately is stepping down, but he's also going to be remaining with us in some degree and capacity, as he is really instrumental to getting some of this trail work done. Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so completion of Be Kind and Flovid. I just want to thank BC Parks, the City of Vernon, Cal Rotary for funding this, as well as many individuals and families within the community. I think I've seen several people in the community and thanked them personally for Matt Ball, because Matt drummed up a bunch of initial funds that seeded this project. Matt's down the list there. I just want to thank Matt for kind of pushing this project forward and helping navigate when we got turned down at least once by land managers to make this happen. But in the end, that relationship with BC Parks has maintained, and now we have a bunch of new trails. So that's awesome. There were thousands of hours put in by the unit crews from Vernon, Salmon Arm, and then as well, there's a private government funded strategic crew as well. So they put in thousands of hours to cut the line in, do the bulk of the digging. Thanks to Jason Martin, as well as Contour Trails, Camp Sorensen, for really bringing the builds to a pro level. I'd say these two new trails really kind of set the standard for hopefully what we're looking to move towards maintenance within Cal and the rest of the network. And really, I just want to thank all the entire mountain bike community in the North Okanagan for making this happen. This is it's taken about, I think, 7 years for these two projects to move forward, which is kind of crazy. But it's done now, and I'm pretty happy about it, and pretty happy to kind of move to my next role within Nocs, which should hopefully just be supportive and maybe towards the youth programming stuff as well. So I think that's the next slide there, Brett. So yeah, I don't know if you put that in there. Yeah.
Oh,
so
no, I did. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna step back, and I think the board's doing a great job moving the direction forward for Nocs, and I'm happy to support in the coming years. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Mark. And again, I want to say thanks I know it was more than just a year, but there was a lot of things that went on when COVID all hit, and we had the money in our pockets and we didn't know if we could spend it, but you and Jason made things happen with parks, and somehow or another, a couple of weeks after the parks reopened, we had brand new trails. So thanks.
Yeah, and that one's good too, Brett. Just like BC Parks really did, once we kind of moved through the management plan towards the approval on this project, they really did work very hard given the situation to make this happen. So thanks to Ryan for that. He's been great to deal with on this project in particular. So thanks very much. We look forward to working with them more in the future. Yeah, hopefully in Sovereign, because it doesn't sound like we're going to get a whole lot more in Cal. So
or Ellison.
Yeah. So there's some opportunity there, but we'll let Jay speak to that. Yeah. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks again, Mark. Okay. So yeah, Jason, that's as we segue into you, our Trails Director, Jason Martin. Yeah, but I think you guys all know.
Yeah, hi everybody.
He was virtual last year. He was virtual before our time.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Mark. And like Brett already said, we can't thank Mark enough for his time on Be Kind. The one name that Mark didn't put in his slide was recognizing himself for his efforts. I think Mark did the most bushwhacking out of anybody to make that trail come to fruition and flag it and GPS it over and over and over again. So Mark had a huge part in laying that trail out and making it happen. Yeah, as you mentioned there, the new trail, we've talked about that one already, so I'll just keep going. I also have to, we did the one brushing day in the spring, and that was really led by and organized by Fractured Films and Ryan Hammond. We had a great turnout with about 30 people, I believe. So that and all the trails in the basically grasslands of Cousins got brushed out last year because of it. So although we had limited volunteer days due to COVID last year, that was a great project with really good turnout. So thanks to all the volunteers on that one. Can go to the next slide. Looking up higher into above the park, the trail got announced in the fall. It was kind of the silent project that was happening in the back end of things, and Randy Savoy was the leader behind it, and he put in tons and tons and tons of volunteer time building My Crown and Achievement up on top of the plateau. And Randy has done tons of work in the valley ever since he's moved to Vernon, and he's been a great asset in our volunteer crew. He's the silent guy that does a lot of work that no one ever knows it's him, but he's the main guy behind My Crown and Achievement. He also ran the volunteer day up on that trail in the fall, so thanks to the volunteers that helped with that trail as well. Also, thanks to the trail bosses, we kind of brought that program back in this past year. Realistically, these are the trail fairies that are out there making sure the trails are ready to go for everybody. They're the ones cutting deadfall. They're doing work on the trails, and generally speaking, doing all this work without wanting any recognition. There's so many of them, I can't list all of the names, but they all know who they are, and they're doing an awesome job, and they're the ones that have kept our trails up to such a good standard over the past numerous years. Go to the next. Yeah, so looking into 2021, as it's already been mentioned, the definitely biggest news for this year is that we're going to be running a trail crew. So right now I'm in the midst of hiring a crew, and we'll be running with myself plus 2 others. And the plan for this is to make sure that all the trails are getting maintained. That's our main focus this year, is just to get them all maintained. We'll be starting in the later half of April, running for a month, and then in the fall we'll do another month of work in October. And yeah, the focus is to try to do as much work as possible in the time that we have, with focus on trying to hit every single trail that we have. The concern from some of our land managers is that we have so many trails that they don't necessarily want to see more trails until we can make sure we can keep up with what we have. So that's kind of the principle behind our trail crew, and that's our focus for this year, in hopes that this will show our dedication to the trails on behalf of Nocs, and hopefully open the doors for more new trails in the future. Up on top of King Eddie Plateau, we do have permission already to build a new climbing trail up there. And that's another trail that Randy is taking on the initiative on. And the plan for that is a relatively short climb trail from King Eddie Road to get you up to Upper Ed and My Crown and Achievement, instead of riding up the deactivated logging road. So we'll be looking forward to putting that trail in as well. And then also assisting BC Parks. Some people have probably heard about this project already, but BC Parks is actually taking the lead, and they're running the project themselves. And we plan to just continue assisting them with anything they need from us to make a new green trail from the campground up to the mountain bike parking lot, and then a little loop back down, as well as a kind of flow pump track that'll circle the septic fields that are at the mountain bikers parking lot. So we expect to see that happening this summer, which will be exciting to see up there. Next. And then other works, these are more all behind the scenes at this point in time. As it's already been mentioned, we don't really have any projects that have full permissions to go. For the projects that we have been working on continuously in the background, is working with the land managers to reinstate spankies and working with that private landowner. We're working with BC Parks currently to see the renewal of the Silver Star Provincial Plan, or sorry, Silver Star Provincial Park Master Plan. And like Mark said, that's where we're realistically hoping to see some new trails in the near future, and potentially even this summer if the master plan gets done soon enough. We're continuously working with the RDNO Crown Land, with Rec Sites and Trails BC, and hoping to potentially create a new expansion into the ranch lands, which would provide a great new network of trails for especially in the spring, early spring, and late into the fall. The ranch lands being the terrain that's kind of up above East Hill. You're looking at the big kind of old grazing lands above East Hill and the BX there. And then also working with the Crown Land on an assessment planning that they've started about a year and a half, 2 years ago in Noble Canyon, to create a bit more of an established, organized efforts to the mishmash of trails that are out there. So once that assessment plan is done, same as Silver Star's Provincial Park Plan, we're hoping that that'll open the doors to some new trails up there as well. So those are all the things that are happening in the background, and hopefully we see some permissions leading into next year to see some future expansions and some more trails come into all of us. So that's pretty much everything that's happening right now. And like I said, trail crew this year is super exciting to see it happening. We've talked about it for so many years, and I'm really excited to be a part with the huge support of Bridget to find corporate sponsorship and everybody else on the board and in the community that's helping make this happen. Really exciting news.
Thank you, Jason. Nikki, I just want to check in with you. I'm sorry, I think we were supposed to check in before we switched to presenters to see if there have been any questions to deal with. Is there any backlog?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Okay, thank you.
And I sorted out the polling for the next time. So,
Okay, well, I got to give you a heads up. All right, so next up is the person that is in your inbox every week, Rosemary Welpdale. So much more than that she does, and going to turn the floor over to her to talk to you about what's going on with communications.
All right. Can you hear me, Brett?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, thank you for reading our newsletter and checking out our Instagram and our Facebook page. And we have a very high open rate, which is awesome. It means you're actually opening the newsletter. And yes, we can see if you open or don't open the newsletter. And that's actually excellent for us because it tells us that we're getting our message out. So thank you for opening and reading what we put out. The newsletters will continue to run weekly because we are moving into our busy season. We'd like to have a huge thank you to Dudley Coulter of Rise Communications for his volunteer role of social media manager for the last years. He was influential in growing our reach and just did an absolutely fantastic job. So thank you so much, Dudley. Big news on the communications front is we have hired a paid social media manager for the 2021 season. We're excited to see our reach grow, our Trail Karma contributions grow, and hopefully our membership grow as well. This was a move in our strategic plan strategy we as a board are implementing. And next slide. And if you have a community event that you'd like to be seen by our membership, if you can submit that to me at info@nocs.ca. Pictures are always welcome because a picture is worth 1,000 words and nobody wants to see me write 1,000 words. So if you have a picture, that's even better. The deadline is Friday by noon, just because Saturdays I don't often check the email. So if you get it to me on Saturday and it happens to get in, lucky you. But yeah, Friday by noon, please and thank you. The other thing I'd love to say is just if you aren't already subscribed to the newsletter, that's where we release all the information for our social rides, anything that we are passing on that's a community event that may not be Nocs specific. So just make sure that you get on there and you have access to that. I don't know if there's another slide or not. Brett, is there?
There it is, sorry.
Okay, perfect.
You knew it was
that's
there.
how you can subscribe. So either for the newsletter, there's a little box. You just put your email address in. It's super simple at nocs.ca. Follow us on Instagram. And if you're on Instagram and you take pictures, make sure to use our hashtag MTBVernon so that you can potentially get featured. And also, yeah, follow us on Facebook. And thanks so much. And that's it for
Thanks,
me.
Rosemary. It's a big thankless job and you do it every week, so really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, Grant Hancock is up next, our webmaster. He's been working hard in the background as well.
Hello.
Hi, Grant.
Just was looking up the latest numbers. So sorry, I didn't think I was coming up that quickly. So I have been, like Brett said, working in the background to revise and refresh the website. I've been trying to make it usable across all platforms. The look was mostly, meant for desktops, and we have more and more people engaging on their mobile devices. And then other things that we've done, we've just bumped up the rate, the level of our Squarespace subscription, and that's going to allow us to facilitate the mobile payments. So we're going to be able to have our membership drives and get people to sign up and accept payments in person, and also allow us to sell expand our merchandise offerings and Instagram and Facebook Marketplace integration. So yeah, on top of that, with Cynthia doing so much work for us over the last few years and stepping down, and the fact that I'm in the website all the time anyhow, I have been keeping our membership information up to date. And so far, year to date, this was yesterday, we had 479 members, and those numbers are already out of date because I just had a quick peek and we have 79 family memberships. We have 98 individual memberships and 48 partner spouse memberships as of just a few minutes ago. So thank you to everybody that's been signing up. Thank you for feeding me the information. There's been a couple people that had a hard time checking out, and I think we made changes there. But anytime there's any questions on that stuff, the info at Nocs or the membership at nocs.ca is the best place to reach me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grant. And thank you for taking on that extra duty. And thank you for mentioning how much Cynthia did. She says it wasn't just secretary, that's for sure. Next up, before I move on, Nikki, any questions or hands up?
Nope, we're good.
Super. So I think we got next is our trail ninjas. Nicole is got some things to tell us about the program.
Hi, thanks, Brett. My name's Nicole, and I'm the Youth Programs Director, and I help coordinate the Trail Ninja programs with Wade Garrett and our coaches. So next slide. We got 3 program streams. I'm going to actually just start at the bottom. We have our Trail Ninjas Trail Crew, and that involves fun Friday rides and trail building events. We have our Trail Ninjas G Tribe, which is a girls only program with female bike coach leadership, which makes all the difference. And our head coach is Crystal Townsend. You would know her from Silver Star. Then we have our Trail Ninjas Academy program. And so this program is for both boys and girls. And it includes progressive bike skills so that riders are competition ready or just riders for life. And our head coaches are Wade Garrett and Pete Zablotny. So once again, we're super lucky. Next slide, please. Here's a cool picture. It's before and after of the ninjas helping Cam and his crew up at Silver Star with a section of Beowulf. And this section, the ninjas named Ninja 9. I think it was Ninja 9. So that was a real honor. Next. Here, I just wanted to overview our, this is our program objectives. Thanks for pointing that out, Brett. I think that the main goals is to really create a positive trail experience for both families and youth. And I won't go over all of these, but at the heart of our goals is to keep kids involved in our bike community, because they're really our future stewards of the land and our bike culture. Thanks. Next slide. This is a picture of a couple of our group rides. Looks like that's the Lookout Trail, and then Rock is the New Berm, which Ninjas helped to build as well. Next slide. So for 2020, although our program was canceled, we were able to send out Ninja newsletters thanks to coaches Crystal and Nikki. Also a big thanks to Sun Country Cycle and all the members who bought Trail Ninja jerseys. We were able to have over $2,000 donated to the club from that. I also wanted to thank our 2020 sponsors. They were ready to support the program, even though it couldn't in the end go through. And those sponsors were Vernon Toyota, Pleasant Valley Dental, Rob Ford, and Monashi Rail Corporation. So big thank you to you guys from last year. For 2021, we're really excited that our programs can roll out. So we'll be following the Cycling BC and Via Sport guidelines for a safe return to sport. That'll be for all of our group rides and trail events. I just wanted to note that the youth protocols are different than the adult. So please see our website for all those safety related details. Next slide. And then I just wanted to say that if anyone has any questions or if anyone wants to get involved, please just reach out via email. My email is youth@nocs.ca. That's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Nicole. Great job. Any questions, Nikki?
No questions. Jill wrote a comment. So great to see some paid positions for Nocs. Thank you.
Super. All right, Dave, you are up, sir. Bike Fest.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thanks, Brett. With regards to the Bike Fest portfolio, there's not a lot to report about what went on last year. It wasn't a great year for Bike Fest last year. At the AGM last year, we started by postponing it. And then, as we all know, we canceled last year's Bike Fest. So really what I want to focus on for today's AGM is the plan for 2021. Normally, Bike Fest is made up of 4 events. We usually have a movie, a party, a demo day, and some sort of ride. And, you know, right now, sometimes things sound great. It's really difficult to predict the end of COVID, as we all know. And I'm not really relishing trying to predict it myself. So one thing that we've decided to do for this year is to, usually Bike Fest happens in the spring. That's been part of the idea in the past. This year we've decided to have it coordinated in time with the Western Canadian Mountain Bike Tourism Symposium. which is happening up at Silver Star between September 15th and 17th. So there's going to be people from out of town around at that time. And the thought is to try to showcase some of our local trails and our community while this is happening and participate in it as well. So rather than try to put on a movie or anything else, we're putting all our efforts into a super awesome, epic poker ride, which is kind of inspired. If you've ever done the Seven Summits poker ride, there's a lot of community spirit that's involved in that. It's a pretty fun ride. People dress up. I've dressed up. The people organizing it have all sorts of fun ideas. So this date, September 18th, is not written in stone. After the AGM, normally by this time of year, we have Bike Fest planned for the spring. This year, we're just starting to plan this one single event after the AGM. So it's a Big Ed Loop poker ride with somewhere around 6 stations, a bonus double black extra lap somewhere up on King Eddie Plateau, maybe around my crowning achievement, something like this. And the hope is to really involve local businesses be part of the stations. So if you're out there and would like to get in front of the local bike community and have some fun ideas about things that riders will need to do in order to get a card or two, you can send me an email at events@nocs.ca. So we hope to also recognize the sponsors who are going to be doing these stations with a trophy for best sponsored station. So it'll be fun for all aspects of the community, and really depending on how COVID is looking at that time, possibly some sort of event at the end of it. So the idea right now is to have it start at the Jade and Juniper Bay parking lot, go up past the kiosk, go up Stone Free to the Swan Lake Lookout, do a Big Ed Loop, have a station on the hang glider launch at the top up there, a few stations on the way down, around, back behind Lookout Trail, and back down to the parking lot. So my intention is to get a subcommittee together as soon as possible so that we can put a poster together and promote this event as soon as possible for people to buy tickets in September. So something that people can look forward to at the end of the season, a real fun social ride. That's the main project that I'm working on in my part of the events portfolio. So I'll leave it there. Thanks very much, Brett. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. It's exciting. And something I didn't even touch on really is how much, effort was put into some events last year by both Dave and his crew for the Bike Fest, and Nicole and all of her crew for Ninjas, Dina, with the Enduro. And we ended up with a lot of, not a lot of expense to it, but some things we couldn't return or couldn't change, but we certainly couldn't refund the sweat equity that went into planning these things, and we were ready to pull the trigger on. So thank you to you people. And I know that can be really disheartening. So it's tough to get excited and plan something in the next year when you're just full of uncertainty. But all we can try and do is be positive and look forward. Any questions there, Nikki?
No, we're good.
All right, I just mentioned Dina. I think she's on there. She was saying she didn't want to speak, but I'll give her a chance to change her mind.
No, I'm here.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we got the Duros all planned and ready to go. Hopefully we don't get shut down this year like last, but We sold out in 2.5 hours this year with a big running wait list of 75 people. So people are super, super excited. Our sponsors, we have a great list of sponsors this year that everybody's super excited to hop on board and get something going this year. So super, super excited. The Silver Star is going to host our event this year, which is a really nice venue. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome, Dina. Thanks so much.
No problem.
It's a great community event.
Yeah, it is.
Any questions for Dina?
Nope.
Okay. Next, we're on to our Toonies, one of the events we were able to somewhat execute last year. Marco Arnold, are you out there?
Hey,
These guys
thanks
reacted quickly and got pretty creative, and I really enjoyed the rides last year. I think some other people did too.
Yeah, hey everyone, thanks for joining in. So just a bit of a review. We did 14 rides from June 29th to September 28th. So kind of the thought behind it when COVID hit is that we still, as a bike club, wanted to get something out to our membership, and kind of doing a bit of research, we saw that some other bike clubs were doing virtual rides. And so that's kind of the path we went down. Quite a lot of work was done behind the scenes from multiple board members. So thanks to everyone who helped out. We had to kind of get the ball rolling pretty quick. We had 20 prize sponsors and 9 food sponsors. So the goal kind of was to do a prize sponsor and a food sponsor each week. But with the food sponsors, it was just a bit tougher. I think part of that was because people would go do their ride and then they were done after that. And with just people not going out as much, that kind of changed it. We had 136 participants signed up. The charge was $20 for the pass, which generated $27.20 that went into the bike club. The plan originally, again, was 10 rides, but we had quite a few extra sponsors that stepped forward as the season went on. So we were able to do 4 extra rides. Next slide. We gave out 64 prizes, average of 55 participants per ride, which kind of goes in line with when we were doing them in person. Again, it was kind of depending on time of the season. Summers are usually a bit slower with people on holidays and whatnot. The highest turnout we had was 88, and I think that was for the Skevik skis. Lowest was 28, and that would have been sometime in July, August, most likely when we had that heat wave. Next slide. So coming into this year, we'll continue with the same format. Again, kind of based on COVID, that might change, but for right now, starting kind of in April, May, we'll be doing virtual again. So it'll be the same deal as last year, Nocs membership and a social ride pass. You'll be recording your ride on Strava or Trailforks and then uploading it. We did have some issues last year with people getting the badge. I know I talked to quite a lot of people via email to get that sorted. I think your best bet would be to just use the Strava app and then upload it and then go onto a desktop and either check to see if you got your badge or just rescan for a badge. I know the Trailforks app just isn't the greatest, I think, with some of that stuff. I had some people where it just glitched out. Rides, same as last year, will be done Monday through Sunday, which I think a lot of people enjoyed just from some of the feedback I heard. I know that making it on Thursday nights can be tough for people, so giving them the opportunity to kind of do it whenever is a positive. Next slide. Yeah, so plan to start April or May. Because we're able to start a bit earlier this year, we're going to do one every couple weeks and then pause during the hotter periods of the summer. So again, kind of just looking at the numbers from last year, turnouts were just a bit less during those times, which is understandable. Riding Cal Park in 30-degree weather is not the most exciting. There will probably be a couple rides up at Silver Star again. So that's kind of would be July, August. One thing that we'll like to change is we'll probably do an advanced and then a beginner intermediate route. That was some of the feedback from some people, is that either the route was too easy or it wasn't hard enough. So most likely you'll see 2 routes. So in terms of social rides, kind of the end of the summer into the fall, again, this is kind of up in the air, but basically we're kind of just getting the format set up so that once we get the go ahead from provincial health, that we can maybe actually do some in-person rides. We have our safety plan in terms of Nocs and everything. So that will all be laid out. Course will be marked out. Next slide. Along with the course being marked out, there'll be like a potential for a group ride to be led by volunteer. Sweep of course will be conducted just to ensure that there's nothing left out on the trails. And then hopefully we can get food sponsors on site for some of that stuff. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Marco. Does anybody have any questions for Marco?
There are no questions, just some comments in the chat that I think everyone can read.
Okay. And that does take us on to Nikki Paletz, our volunteer coordinator last year.
Sorry, there is a question from Jeff.
Okay.
For Marco. Jeff asks, I heard rumors of races this year. Marco?
Yeah, so what me and Nikki kind of talked about earlier this year and towards the end of last year is that we do know quite a few people that are into the race scene. So it would be fun to have something specific for those people. Basically what it would be is we would kind of, they're like a Fiverr series where we release the race course kind of the week of, and then we meet up and the race would be timed and there would be prizes and whatnot. Again, kind of up in the air because of COVID. So we'll see where that goes. Again, hopefully maybe towards the end of summer into spring or into fall, sorry.
Great. All right, Nikki, so we're moving on to you and part of our success with our membership numbers.
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, so unfortunately last year without many in-person events, we didn't need too many volunteers, but as you've heard so far, there's a lot of big plans for the near future. So we'll definitely be needing volunteers in a lot of different capacities. So there's a volunteer survey form that you would have received the link to that in the welcome letter that you would have gotten by email when you got your membership. That form is also on the website, or will soon be on the website under the memberships tab. And it'll also soon be in the newsletter and on social media. So you can fill out that form if you're interested in volunteering. It'll ask you a bunch of questions of like what type of volunteering you want to do and availability and things like that. And we'll track emails that way. So yeah, next slide. Yeah, so that's a photo from our first membership drive that we did last year. And if you don't already follow Nocs Vernon on Instagram, the handle is there. You could go to the next slide. Yeah, so last year we kind of piloted 2 membership drives at Cal Park in June and July. So the point of these drives were to raise awareness, let people know like what we do, the benefits of being a member, and kind of guilt people into buying memberships if they aren't already. And they went pretty well. So with that in mind, next slide, please. Yeah, so for this year, we have plans to do many more membership drives, as Bridget mentioned earlier. we'll alternate between Cal and Ellison and try to get those going like quite soon, early season. We have a new point of sale system, so people won't be able to use the no cash as an excuse, and it's just more convenient and safer with all the COVID precautions in place. So we'll be sanitizing, we'll have a screen up and follow all PHO orders. And yeah, to make this a success, we need your help. So if you're interested in volunteering at the tent and spreading the Nocs stoke, you can give maybe an hour or two before or after a ride. And yeah, tell people why you love being a member and all that Nocs does. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, Nikki. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
And that takes us to our grants and sponsorship director, Jeff Blatnick.
Thanks, Brett. I'll make this quick because Tess kind of stole my thunder there, but yeah, Nocs was successful at 2 grants in 2020. Both grants were used to fund the new trail, new Cal Park trail build, and as well as the Twista upgrades and refresh that was done there. So big thanks to the Cal Rotary for giving us $22,900 in the city of Vernon for $5,000. Thanks to Bridget, she did a lot of the work on the Cal Rotary grant before moving on, so appreciate that. For 2021, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. We're going to pursue a number of grants for our trail maintenance crew, but it will be challenging. A lot of grant applications, they prefer to fund capital projects. So operating costs are a bit more of a challenge to apply for, but nonetheless, we'll take a shot at them. And next slide, Brett. And for 2021, we're coming up with some new merchandise this year. So this is a plug for some hats and water bottles. The hats should be in hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and they'll be available at all 3 bike shops. And water bottles should be out towards the end of April, I believe. We should get them. So encourage all members to go grab a hat, and even more so, guilt your friends into buying some merchandise when they come visit town. They can leave with a memento of their time riding in Vernon, or better yet, tell them to buy a membership. But if we say go home with a hat, they got something tangible to remember their riding in Vernon. And that's all I got. Thanks, Brett.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much. Yeah, lots of neat things coming on board here for Nocs this year. And again, it couldn't be done without all the hard work of all the members that have been speaking here tonight, and the vision that we're taking forward. So thanks so much, everybody. We're on to that part of the evening, election of the directors. So
Sorry, Brett.
Sorry
to interrupt. There's a question, where can people buy that awesome merchandise?
Jeff, are you coming back on, or shall I? All 3 bike shops?
Yeah, all 3 bike shops will have them. Skyride, Olympia, Sun Country. Yeah, when they arrive, we'll shout it out in the social media and on the website, and everyone will know. We'll make sure they know.
They're limited numbers too, so get them quick.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks again. Anything else, Nikki?
Nope, that's everything. Just some comments.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
So I assume any of the comments or questions are things that we will respond to following the meeting, if there are those kinds of remaining unanswered questions. As I was saying, so the board members in Nocs are elected for a 2-year term, and we have 3 people that are stepping down at the end of their terms this year. Myself, I do plan to remain involved with Nocs in some way, shape, or fashion if they'll take me, but I'm happy to, as I was talking before, alluded to, we have a large directorship, and I think we need to have a little bit of a restructuring there. So I'm totally happy to come on and support in a non-voting capacity. That's my future. Mark, as you heard, he's going to be stepping down and remaining involved with trails and helping Jason in the background and youth programs. Secretary of Membership, Cynthia Kapicki, is also stepping down. So I want to say thanks to you guys for your service. And we'll be welcoming some new members in soon here. So we're going to step through these one at a time. Also along in our bylaws is a requirement that people make their intentions to run known ahead of time in print. And so we have received a couple nominations, one for president. And I'm just going to ask somebody from the board to put that name forward. Muted. Okay, so maybe I will just mention Diana Wilson, who I spoke with yesterday. She put her name forward. She's got quite a bit of experience with boards and nonprofits, and we had a good talk yesterday, and I think she's very interested and going to be a great direction going forward for us with the executive director position that we have currently running with Bridget, and all the support of the engaged directors now that are going on. So I would like to nominate Diana Wilson for president. And Diana, if you're still there, are you still willing to accept that nomination?
I am.
Okay. As we do not, as I said, we've taken the nominations in advance, so we don't really have to go to the floor. And so I'd like to acclaim Diana Wilson, or by acclamation, present Diana Wilson as our new president.
Wow, exciting.
And you're getting all these votes.
And we did just speak yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, how quickly it moves.
Yeah.
I just wanted to use the polling feature, Brett, because I missed
That's fine. I know. I didn't tell you what I sort of changed things there.
Perfect.
So by overwhelming support by the poll, Diana Wilson is our new president. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited, very hyped. You guys, I had no idea. Wow, what a lot. A lot of work you guys have done, and I know what it takes to do everything that you're doing. And yeah, I'm just really thrilled to be a part of this going forward. So thanks for letting me in the club.
Well, I think I speak for everybody when I say thank you for stepping up and helping us out, because we're sure looking forward to your leadership.
All right, awesome.
All right, so we're going to move along here. Any questions, Nikki?
Just a lot of congratulations to Diana.
Awesome. All right, so for vice president, we've had several discussions about this too, and we had somebody from within that wants to be a little more involved as well. But I had James Cotter, who has helped us out with some legal advice in the past, and he is a very active mountain biker and very active in the community. And we had a good chat yesterday as well. And so I'm looking forward to welcoming James Cotter into the Nocs as vice president. James, are you still willing to stand?
Yes, I am. For some reason, I can't get my video working here, but yeah, when I saw the email from Nocs asking for people to step forward, I sort of finally thought I probably in my life have a bit of time to devote to being on a board again. And as Brett said, I'm a very avid mountain biker. I know a lot of people in Nocs, and so I just figured my legal experience and experience on boards would probably be a benefit. I don't know. People might think having a lawyer on the board is a good or a bad thing, but hopefully it's a good thing. So yes, I am.
Super. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's a good thing. We definitely have a bit of a hole in our risk management. Bridget and I had a chat about that today. So you've helped us out in the past with that, and I think that's an important thing that we need to close some loops on, or some holes on. So, and I see we got the polling going on. And
I should also say that Cynthia Kapicki works in my office, so I'll just be leaning on her every chance I get.
She thought she was getting out, didn't she? All right, James, I'd like to announce by acclamation that you are the new vice president of the North Okanagan Cycling Club. Thank you so much to both James and Diana. I'm sure everybody's.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and we have one more to go here. So as I said, this is hard boots to fill with Cynthia leaving, but we've got some incredible talent within Nocs, and Nikki Pauletz has put her name forward to be the next secretary. That does come with a bit of a precursor. She may only be around for a certain period of time, so we have to actively engage in finding a replacement for her, you know, within the next year, I'd suggest. But she's really dug in and been looking at the bylaws and the Societies Act and helping Bridget and I navigate here the last little while, and as well as put together this whole presentation for us tonight and made it happen virtually. So Nikki, are you still willing to stand for the new secretary?
Yes.
Are we gonna vote? This will be interesting. All right, safe to say, thanks to Nikki Pauletz, and you, by acclamation, you are the new secretary of the North Okanagan Cycling Society. Thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to say?
Oh gosh, putting you on the spot. No, I'm just excited to be on the board in this new capacity, and we have a great team, and I'm looking forward to working with the new faces as well as those that I've grown to know. So yeah, thank you.
All right, well, that really wraps up our meeting tonight. I think it went very well, all things considered, and I'm happy to stick around on here and answer any questions if anybody wants to talk or chat for a little bit. But officially the meeting is adjourned.
Sorry, Brett.
Oh, sorry.
Can I let Bridget say something before
Yes.
we go?
I should have asked if
Yeah, I'd
anybody
love
else wanted to
to.
say anything. I'm sorry.
No problem. I just wanted to take a moment, as most presidents are always the leaders of the group. It's often a very thankless job. I wanted everyone to know how much time and effort Brett put into our club. In the last 2 years, when we went and broke the threshold of 1,000 members, something that many of us thought was impossible to do, and he led all of us. It's a fairly populated board. There's quite a few of us. There's a lot of things happening, and Brett was at the helm of all of it and spent countless hours really trying to bring this club to the next level. And I wanted to make sure that before he left and retired, that he understood how thankful we all were for the time, energy, and effort that he put into our club. It's, again, a thankless job. Anybody who's been in a leadership position of a nonprofit recognizes that it can consume you. And I think we've learned through Brett's experience and how many things that are happening with the bike club these days and the trail organization, that we all need to spread the workload out and ensure that we do an excellent job moving forward as we become bigger and more active. So I'd like to take this moment to thank you, Brett, for all your effort and hard work on behalf of all of us on the board. Thanks a million. Well done.
Thank you, Bridget. I appreciate it. It's truly been an honor. It's a great community, and it's amazing things going on in Vernon. So thanks to you and the board, because I couldn't have done it without you. All right, so the meeting is adjourned. And as I said, we'll stay online here for a little bit if anybody wants to chat.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks for all your hard work.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Okay, Brett, you remember our deal, right? You're not just like abandoning me here.
No, I think Bridget figured out where I lived the other day, so
Oh,
unfortunately.
good. I'll have to talk to Bridget. She's my first person I'm going to talk to.